Ako po ay si Academician Mujikiwis Santos, Muji po for short, of the Agricultural Sciences Division of NAST Philippines. Ako po ang inyong moderator for today. Ayan. To welcome us, we have Academician Rodora V. Azanza, the NAST Philippines President. Ma'am?
Okay, magandang umaga sa ating lahat. Good morning to everyone. On behalf of the National Academy of Science and Technology, I formally welcome everyone to the very first Philippine NAST virtual Kapehan featuring our newly elected NAST members and corresponding members. As the country's highest recognition and advisory body in science and technology, the Academy hopes that this first episode of our virtual Kapehan will serve as a venue to introduce our newly elected NAST members and corresponding members and to raise the general public's awareness on timely issues that will be discussed during the 42nd Annual Scientific Meeting that will also be broadcasted online on July 8 to 10, 2020. So be sure to register for that forthcoming event. Today, I must say that it is a great opportunity to know about the exemplary contributions of our newly elected NAST member and corresponding members to science and technology in the Philippines, and they will be discussing science-based transformation of knowledge and researches into potential goods and services for the Philippines' path towards sustainability and resilience. So we would be discussing several issues. I am not aware who are present, but I hope we will be discussing issues related to food system and health, energy and water, environment, climate change, and blue economy, our favorite, transportation, ICT, and other infrastructure. And then at this point, I'd like to mention that the event the forthcoming event, which is the ASN, will be drafting resolutions on appropriate interventions for the Philippine government and private sector to undertake in the coming years. Also, I'd like to thank at this point those who worked to make this virtual Kapehan successful. I'd like to welcome our new NAST members and thank them for participating in this Kapehan. The NAST communication team, Muji, and the others who are present who are helping us. Ning, I think, is present. I did not see some others around. I cannot mention their names. I can see that there are already 27 of us around. Our media friends for finding time to attend this very important activity. Please share whatever you learn through your writings and through whatever means that you can have to disseminate what you have experienced in this Kapehan. I wish everyone a fruitful exchange of ideas from our speakers and the media. And once again, a pleasant morning to everyone. Let us have a successful Kapehan and discussion. Magandang umaga at mabuhay tayong lahat.
All right. At magandang hapon din po, Ma'am Rod.
Ay, hapon na nga pala.
Nga po ba ang hashtag Pilipinas Virtual Kapehan? Well, alam nyo na, because of the new normal, it is a series of online dialogue between NAST Philippines and the press and science communicators to introduce the programs, activities, awardees, and members of the Academy, as well as timely issues faced by the country. For the first hashtag Pilipinas Virtual Kapehan, our featured guests are our newly elected academicians and corresponding members. Okay? So before I introduce them, gusto ko lang pong sabihin na yung format po ng Kapehan natin ay parang lamang tayong nagkukwentuhan. Kaya meron po akong kape na hawak. So I will ask our guests to briefly introduce themselves, no? Ang ating academicians and corresponding members. And then I will ask some questions which they will answer. And then it will be followed by the questions from our media friends. So ganun po yung ating magiging format. Okay po? Thumbs up? Okay. Now, but before I go to asking our guests to introduce themselves, may I call on Ma'am Ning? Ma'am Ning, to give some background on ano ba ang isang NAST academician at ano ba ang isang NAST corresponding member. Ma'am Ning?
Okay. Okay, para sa kalaman nating lahat at ang ating pare-pareho tayo ng page na binabasa, ang ating pong academicians o tinatawag nating NAST member, sila po ay mga Filipino citizen and recognized by their peers and carry the names and the title of academician. They are elected as academician, resident Filipino scientists who have made exemplary contribution to science and technology and have advanced its cause in the Philippines. So, ibig sabihin, yung pong ating mga NAS members dito po nag-work. Karamihan po ng work nila dito sa Pilipinas at nakakatulong sa ating bansa. Yun naman pong ating corresponding members ay conferred non-resident. They are being conferred. They are Filipino citizens but either they are now dual ang citizenship and they have made exemplary contribution to the advancement of science and technology and must have continuing connections and contribution to Philippine science. So, kumbaga parang yung bulk of their work may not necessarily be here sa Philippines at hindi din talagang totally nakakatulong sa bansa pero nakakatulong yun sa advancement on science and technology and at the same time po bumabalik sila dito sa Pilipinas. Mga nasa abroad man sila, bumabalik sila sa Pilipinas at tumutulong sa ating science and technology community dito sa Pilipinas. So yun po yung medyo difference ng NAS members at corresponding members. But both, of course, are considered members of NAS. Ang difference lang ay yung title. Yun po. Salamat po.
Alright, maraming salamat Ma'am Ning. Okay, punta na po tayo at kilalanin natin ang ating mga bagong NAST academicians at ang NAST corresponding members. I'll call first yung ating NAST academicians to introduce themselves. Okay, mauna and then sunod-sunod na po sila si Dr. Arnel Del Barrio, and then to be followed by Dr. Arnel Del Barrio, PhD in Ruminant Nutrition, Dr. Windel Rivera, PhD in Medical Sciences, Dr. Maribel Nonato, PhD Chemistry, and then Dr. Christopher Monterola, PhD Physics. Go ahead, sirs, ma'am. Sir Windel, go ahead.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I am Windel Rivera. I'm a professor of microbiology at the Institute of Biology, College of Science in UP Diliman. I got my PhD in medical science, majoring in cell and molecular microbiology. So literally, I'm a microbiologist, but I specialized in protozoology. This is the science that studies protozoans. I do not know if you're familiar with your protozoans back in your biology classes. There are free-living and parasitic protozoans. The parasitic ones. I am also a UP scientist.
So we proceed with Dr. Nonato. Ma'am?
Hello, magandang hapon sa inyong lahat. I'm Maribel Nonato from the University of Santo Tomas. I am a professor of chemistry at the university. And at the same time, I also serve the university as the Vice Rector for Research and Innovation. I finished my PhD at the University of Wollongong in Australia in the field of organic chemistry, specifically on phytochemistry. So I do work on looking for bioactive compounds from Philippine plants. And I guess my focus really is on the family Pandanaceae, where we discovered several new compounds from one species, which is everybody knows about that, yung pandan mabango. So, yun lang po.
Thank you, ma'am. Dr. Chris Monterola?
Hi, magandang hapon po sa lahat. My name is Christopher Monterola. Currently, I'm a professor po of the Asian Institute of Management. I am the head of the awardees School of Innovation, Technology, and Entrepreneurship. And currently, I'm also the holder of the Data Science Professorial Chair of the awardees Group, and the Managing Director of the Access Laboratory, which is the Analytics Computing Complex Systems Lab. Essentially, it's the data science laboratory of AIM. So I'm a physicist by training, as mentioned po, and my field of specialty really is on artificial intelligence and complex systems. A good portion of my time I devoted now to helping the industries, especially in the Philippines and the startup community, para po magamit ang science of data para ma-improve ang ating economy at ang kanilang iba't ibang ginagawa. Maraming po salamat.
Thank you, Dr. Chris. And now we proceed muna to our NAST corresponding members. No? Starting with Dr. Francis L. de los Reyes III, PhD Environmental Engineering, then followed by Dr. Gonzalo Serafica, PhD Chemical Engineering, Dr. Ramon Gustilo, MD Orthopedics, and last but not least, Dr. Annabel Villalobos, PhD Chemistry. Sir Francis?
Magandang hapon po. Good morning. Actually, sa akin, it's 1 a.m. where I am. I'm Francis de los Reyes. I am a professor and university faculty scholar at North Carolina State University in North Carolina in the U.S. And I got my PhD in environmental engineering and science from the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. My area of research is in environmental biotechnology, environmental microbiology, really looking at conversion of waste to resources and energy. And then the other area of research is in global sanitation in the developing world. So that's it, yeah.
Thank you, sir. Okay, Sir Gonzalo, sir.
Hi, I'm Al Serafica. You can call me Al, although they know me as Gonzalo. I'm actually left the Philippines in 1989, 31 years ago, to do my PhD in chemical engineering in Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute in New York. And just before I finished my PhD, I started a company in biomaterials and medical devices. And my focus is on biomaterials and biochemical engineering. And that's where I developed several products that were approved by the FDA and also filed about 10 US granted patents and about 23 international patents on that development. I came back as a balik scientist in 2013 to help the country in technology commercialization and utilization. And a consultant for UP System, De La Salle, DOST, and USAID Stride. I'm on an extended stay now in the Philippines, but until such time that you don't need me anymore, and we have enough models of companies that have succeeded in science and technology, then maybe I can go back to the US. But thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Huwag ka nang umalis. Huwag ka nang bumalik sa US. Sir Ramon? Dr. Ramon, sir?
In Minneapolis for the last 25 years and then retired. Then came back to the Philippines. I founded the Philippine Orthopedic International. It's manufacture orthopedic implants. We have a joint venture with the Department of Science and Technology to produce a knee implant for Filipinos and Asians. My interest really at this time is developing implant for broken bones and at the same time joint replacement implants. I have multiple patents in this line. So essentially, I just finished building a hospital here in Manapla, Negros Occidental, and we were open for the last 6 months. So I'm here for more or less for good in giving it back to the Philippines.
Awesome. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. And kay Ma'am Annabel, ma'am?
I'm Annabel Villalobos, research fellow consultant of Janssen Pharmaceuticals at Johnson & Johnson Company in the US. And my specialization is in biochem and biopharm drugs from the market. And I did my PhD in chemistry, majored in physical biochem and analytical chem at the University of Cincinnati, and a postdoc at the University of Pennsylvania in cell and molecular biology. So I'm in the Philippines as a DOST Balik scientist. I travel 2 to 3 times a year to help boost the science and technology here. And my hosts are UP, CMU, Cagayan State University, TADECO, and other private and public organizations. So I work on many aspects of natural products in the Philippines, and this is complemented with immediate business remuneration. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. And they say 3 times the charm. So, Sir Arnel?
Hello, good
Yun.
afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear, sir.
Okay, hi. Good afternoon to everyone. My name is Arnel Del Barrio, currently the Executive Director of the Philippine Carabao Center, an attached agency of the Department of Agriculture. I came from Daet, Camarines Norte. I studied my BS in Agriculture, major in Animal Science from UPLB. Likewise, I completed my master's and PhD in ruminant nutrition in UPLB, and also finished my postdoctoral research in Kansas State University in the USA. Ako po ay outstanding young scientist noong year 2000 and conferred as Scientist 1 in 2014. So magandang hapon po sa ating lahat.
All right. Thank you very much, Sir Arnel. And thank you very much all, no? Thank you very much all for your service. Maraming salamat po. And welcome to the NAST family. Ayan. Well, as I've mentioned, I have here some questions for us to know our newly elected NAST members and corresponding members better. But before that, for our media friends and science communicators present today, if you have questions po for our guest, para po mas smooth ang ating discussion, please type your questions in the chat box na po. And then paunahan po, meaning first come, first serve. And after reading your questions to our guests, we will let you ask your follow-up questions personally, if you have any. So, ito po yung aking mga questions para sa ating mga bagong academicians and corresponding members. I have 5, and for each, I am going to ask 2 of them for each question. So the first question, ito na. How and when did you learn that you were elected to the academy? Paano po ang inyong reaction? So can I ask Dr. De Los Reyes? Sir Francis?
Sure, okay. Yeah, so I actually first heard of it. I got a Facebook message from one of the faculty at UP Los Baños. I think she helped together the package. I think academician Asuncion Raimundo was pivotal in putting together the package, and so I heard from one of her faculty first. And of course, it's a very big honor, and it was something that was really heartwarming and proud, obviously, to receive this big honor. Yeah, so it's especially meaningful because it's your peers and respected scientists in the Philippines who vote, and it's very special because it's coming from the respected, the most distinguished scientists from the Philippines, and basically they're saying that, yeah, your record is such that, it's admissible to NAST, and also that they see potential and have been collaborating and helping with science in the Philippines.
Okay, thank you, sir. Dr. Rivera, Sir Windel, same question. How did you react?
Of course, I was happy. I learned it actually through text messages. Immediately after the election happened, I got a message from my nominators telling me that I was elected as a member. So after receiving, of course, that message, I was very happy to know that I was recognized by the NAST members.
Good, good.
Thank
Ako
you.
din eh. Parang magtatatalon ako sa tuwa. Okay, next question. What do you think are your strong points that led to your success in the nomination? Ayan. I would ask Dr. Arnel Del Barrio. Sir Arnel?
I have a very short answer to this query. Ang sabi ko dito, siguro it's a combination of my accomplishments in research, development, and extension, and complemented with agency performance. So this is now my 36th year in service, especially working on Buffalo. And through the years, nagsimula tayo as farm manager. So we did a lot of research there. And then naging leader, naging center director, naging extension worker, naging development worker, now leading the Philippine Carabao Center. So I think it's a combination of research, development extension, and our performance as an agency. I think I cannot pinpoint one strong point, but collectively, it's the combination of all those things. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Sir Arnel. And same question for Sir Al. Sir Al?
I think it's both of my experience in the United States, having started a company and developed products that help thousands of people, both on the topical and the implantable medical devices that my company, Silos Corporations, have developed. We spent close to about $40 million developing those products over a span of 15 years. And I would say over 100,000 people have benefited on those products. So that's the US side. And in the Philippines, of course, when I came back here as a Balik Scientist in 2013, I've been helping UP system, all the campuses of UP and the LSU, as well as now I can say all the RDIs of DOST. I'm mentoring right now FPRDI, the last RDI that I have not touched in DOST in terms of technology commercialization and utilization. And of course, USAID Stride has been ongoing for about 6 to 7 years. We've helped over 100 universities and technology knowledge offices, as well as innovations. And clearly, those are very impactful in my mind, having met hundreds of scientists in the Philippines who are aspiring to at least get their technologies, if not commercialized, utilized for eventual application and benefit to the Philippines and to its people. So to me, those are very rewarding. I'm yet not done because we have not enough models of companies here yet that I can point to. Every time I go out and talk, I have to talk about my company and my experience in the US. And I'm hoping that one of these days I can talk of somebody else, like Raul Distura maybe, or other UP technologies that have made it to become billionaires as well, and that's worth emulating. So wala pa tayo doon, pero hopefully it will get there. But I think the combination of that and industry leaning initiatives that we push for, convergence between government, academia, and industry, has always been my strong point. And I think that's what I think I'd offer to NAST, to have more on this industry application, commercialization, sustainability aspects of science and technology. Thank you.
Thank you, Sir Al. I like the word billions, billionaires.
Yeah.
Maganda sa pandinig. Okay, the third question. Now, what does your election to the academy mean to you? Siguro I'll ask Dr. Ramon Gustilo, sir. Ano daw ang meaning po ng kaka-elect sa academy sa inyo?
It really means to me that for the first time, I realized then that the Philippine government and other agencies really are interested now in research, finding solutions to clinical problems in medicine. All my life, 50 years and on, I've been involved in clinical research. From the time I was a resident up to the present time, I have my own research company in the United States. And now I have one here in Cabuyao, Laguna. So that's essentially my entire life. And I'm glad that the government is supporting it. And we have joint projects now with the Department of Science and Technology in 2 or 3 areas. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And yeah, recognition is really important. Ano? I personally feel na kulang pa sa Pilipinas, no, yung pagre-recognize. So, tama-tama itong ating efforts sa NAST. Okay, the fourth question. What would be the opportunities do you think would open for you after winning this award? Okay, so tanungin ko si Dr. Maribel Donato, ma'am. Opportunities daw po.
Hello. Yes, oo.
Or challenges maybe.
well, you can always convert challenges to opportunity. Yeah. I always look at it in that aspect, no. Sa akin, I think maraming. Considering that my position in the university is to handle research and innovation in different disciplines. Kaya being elected as an academician, for me, that there's a big opportunity for me to be able to establish more linkage, not only within my field, but to the others as well. Because I think yung maging kasama mo yung mga ibang tao who also excels in the different fields, mas marami ka pang matututunan, mas marami ka ma-establish na engagements with them that you may be able to use para matulungan pa yung iba. Kasi mas, sa ngayon kasi ang nasa isip ko, hindi lang sarili ko. Being in the university, as an administrator for a long time, I always think of the others. Kaya ang nakita kong opportunity dito ay malaking-malaki. Kasi alam ko mas malawak ngayon ang mga makakasama ko, mas malawak ang mapapag-usapan namin ng mga areas na possible kami magkaroon ng collaboration at magkaroon ng tulungan na marisolba o mahanapan ng solusyon ang mga problema natin. Not only within our own universities, na within the country or elsewhere pa. So yun yung maraming opportunities na nakita ko. It would open certainly a lot of doors for us to engage with people of different disciplines.
All right.
Salamat.
Thank you, ma'am. Pakinggan naman natin si Ma'am Ann for the same question. Ma'am, opportunities coming from scientists from affiliated sa labas. Go ahead, ma'am.
My success in the US as a scientist in a focused, collaborative, and team approach resulted in delivering safe, efficacious, and quality drugs. And I have an experience and expertise as technical lead in face-to-face meetings with EU and US regulatory agencies, plus an author of Quality Overall Summary. That's the one that is really submitted for drug approval all over the US. And that's all over the world, actually. And that resulted to Johnson & Johnson's blockbuster drugs. And I actively participated on that. I can make use of this expertise here in the Philippines. We're in very strong science and technology coupled with immediate business remuneration, which I think is the one that we lack here. We have rich natural resources, rich manpower, but we are not working smart in a rigorous environment. So I thought that is the one that I could really contribute. And I am working with the Philippine FDA, and I can influence somewhat the guidelines and policies in a way that we can deliver superior drugs to the market done by and delivered by Filipinos. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ma'am Ann. Nakaka-excite, yung mga possibilities and opportunities, lalo na galing dun sa ating mga scientists that work abroad. No? Parang billions na naman ang naririnig ko kay Ma'am Ann, kagaya ni Sir Al. Okay, for the last question, ito para sa isang siguro ayon para sa isang social scientist. Chris, ready ka na? He's my batchmate sa Outstanding Young Scientist in 2011. So the question is, how can you further contribute to the improvement of your respective field and the society in general? And Chris?
Okay. Salamat po. So una po, I'm really humbled for this nomination. And it has always been a dream, my dream, na sana mapakita natin that science can contribute to the society. And it was something that I've been imagining. Siguro po ang lahat ng mga naging PhD students ko, kasama ko na nangangarap ng ganitong perspektibo. At ang isang malalim na ako po, medyo naiiba po ako sa marami sa mga academician na nakuha natin dito kasi sa pagkakaalam ko po, ito ang unang pagkakataon na merong representative ang Asian Institute of Management, isang business school na sinimulan ng Harvard, no? At binuo ito ng mga iba't ibang mga grupo ng tycoons natin sa Pilipinas ngayon na nagbibigay ng maraming trabaho sa mga kababayan natin. Ang pagiging part ko po ng academician na to, ang mga opportunity na ibibigay niya ay hopefully isa katulad na sinabi ni Ma'am Maribel, network ng mga scientists. Isa po sa lumalalim na angulo ng mga business school ngayon is yung idea na may mga STEM graduates na pumupunta po na magbi-business school. No, gusto natin makapag-produce ng mga ganito, ng mga bilyonaryo na katulad ni Al, si Rapika na na nasa STEM field kasi at the same time marami po tayong matutulungan. Isa po sa malalim na advokasya ko ay bigyan ng dignidad ang mga scientists, engineers, social scientists sa Pilipinas. Bigyan sila ng boses at kakayanan na mapalawig ang uri ng pakikipagtalakayan natin sa publiko at sa iba't ibang sa media, sa iba't ibang gamit natin na medium. So I'm right now po I believe at least I'm a data scientist, and my goal is hopefully we can, through this concept, this understanding of the science of data, we can improve, and I hope I will have the opportunity to improve the level of the discussion on the way we do things, the way we solve economic problems, the way we solve the problems of the Filipino people, and the way we move forward to creating a vision that will be more inclusive for everyone. Thank you po. Okay. I hope I was able to provide an answer.
You did, Chris. Thank you very much. Data science, no, napaka-importante ngayon. Lutang na lutang sa issue ng COVID-19, yung test results, etc. So, sige, tama-tama. We do have a lot of time for question and answer. So, padala na po kayo ng inyong mga questions sa chat box, no? Para po isa-isa nating babasahin at itatanong sa ating mga guests. Okay? So, unahin ko na dito. Okay. Kay Dr. Francis daw. This is from Miss Lynn Resurrection. Okay? What is your project in environmental biotech in the Philippines, and what is its status now? Sir Francis?
Yeah, thank you, Lynn, for the question. So in 2008, I was a balik scientist. I was hosted by UPLB, the Department of Microbiology, because I'm also faculty of microbiology at NC State and adjunct professor of microbiology at UPLB. So at that time, they were starting to build a program on using molecular methods to look at microorganisms in all kinds of systems. So I brought in this one technique and also the equipment, and then I trained faculty and staff and students. And I think a series of PhD students and master students use that technique. And what we're doing is we're looking at the DNA and RNA of complex environmental systems and asking, what are the organisms present and how are they interacting? One of the first projects was looking at hot springs. Sa Makiling yung hot springs na unique hyperthermophilic environments. And the question was, do we find unique organisms here in these environments? Because the hypothesis is that under these unique conditions, you're going to have organisms that produce unique enzymes that may be industrially relevant. So that was a series of projects also. And I've been assisting also different groups of researchers, again, looking at things like conversion of wastes to energy, anaerobic systems to produce methane and biogas. And then very recently with COVID-19, and I think this might be relevant also. I've been helping out a group from UP Diliman led by Professor Caroline Haraula on detecting COVID-19 in esteros and surface waters in Metro Manila and in Davao, looking at the RNA signatures. And again, this is using a technique that's sort of leading edge in terms of identifying the SARS-CoV-2 virus. And that's also a project that I have ongoing in the US. It's funded by the National Science Foundation in the US, where we're looking at wastewater, the influent coming to wastewater treatment plants to detect SARS-CoV-2 and relate that to infection rates and the trends in the infection in the community.
All right. Ms. Lynn, meron kang follow-up question kay sir? Ms. Lynn Resurrection, do you want to have a follow-up on that?
There's a follow-up in there. What are the status of the projects now?
Yeah, so the COVID-19 project is ongoing. We actually just had a Zoom meeting maybe 2 nights ago. They're starting up to figure out the methods. I'm helping them out with the methods. The hyperthermophilic springs project, that's finished. There was another project on microorganisms in mines. And I think that's also wrapping up or finished. So I think the most current one is the COVID-19 project, where I'm basically helping these research groups set up and go through the methods.
Okay, thank you, sir. The next question also from, I think, Ma'am Lynn Resurrection, and this goes to all our guests. Do you have current projects concerning COVID-19? What are their status now? I guess nasagot na ni Sir Francis yung sa kanya. The others can say your projects related to COVID, please. Anyone can start? Oh, yeah. Dr. Nonato is raising her hand. Go ahead.
Hi, yes. Currently, wala kaming project that's focused on COVID-19, but we are working on plants that do have that are identified as immunomodulators. So we are trying to focus on that, and we hope that can be related also, because as we know, when you talk of COVID-19, you have to ensure that the immune system of the patients will actually be stronger. So we're looking at natural products. In fact, that is also one of the focus now of the Natural Product Society of the Philippines, where we're going to have a virtual conference looking at natural products or plants or other natural resources where we can tap as a new source of immunomodulators. So i-relate namin yun sa COVID-19 antivirus.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Yung work ko on pandan, actually, it's been reported to have an antiviral activity. But we have not done study yet here, the one that is grown in the Philippines. So yun, we're going to look at that as well.
That'd be interesting.
Yes.
Sino pa po who wants to? Sir Al Serafica raising his hand. Project on COVID-19. Sure.
Yeah, we did quite a bit of support, actually not specifically a single project, because of UP system. We have combined UP Diliman and UP Manila teams that are all working on various projects, from sanitation of PPEs, as well as all the way down to potential local mask production. We're teaching most of these teams to go by the design control methodology, so that they will eventually get their design and products to become FDA allowed for utilization. So, but with my PAASE group, we've been advising DOH and DOST as well with ventilator designs and development. as well as we've been helping try to early stages of COVID-19 in March. We were trying to get both government as well as foreign donors to provide testing capability. Like I was involved with the CEPHID gene expert development importation of cartridges so that we can test very early on. This was in March to early April. This is in anticipation that we need more testing capability. We're now working on several potential cures as well between antibodies, convalescent plasma. Again, this is all in coordination with various research groups, not singularly. But all I do is really just connect people. Kung ano yung interest nila, ano yung gusto nilang gawin, and then who are the other people who have the technology or capability to do it. And then let them get all together and we'll look for money afterwards. But first, they need to be able to say they like to work together. And the last one is, of course, on the vaccine. Because of my former venture capital groups in the United States have been funding Moderna. I've been sending out feelers to my business groups there in the event that there are developments coming up the pike, including with Anne on J&J leads, of course. We may be hopefully be able to get some of the earlier testing in the Philippines, hopefully. But that's a long shot. Suntok sa buwan yan. But nevertheless, it's well worth it. So it's diagnosis with A-Star as well in Singapore, because I'm part of the ASEAN Diagnostic Hub that's been involved for bringing in both RT-PCR type testing as well as antibody, specific for neutralizing antibodies that are capable of killing the virus, not just measuring our immunity. So with all those things, I'm very happy that we are getting to the next level of capability, that is localizing most of these developments moving forward. Also, the last one this morning was on terahertz detection with the National Institute of Physics, yung dating stomping ground ni Chris, with Elmer, and looking at an Israeli technology on being able to detect COVID-19 without any biological, just based on terahertz detection. So those are the types of projects that, again, I'm here mainly to just connect people and help them conceptualize, file patents if need be, find money, but eventually kayo yung gagawa, ako lang yung tutulong. Dapat kayo. That's the best way to learn anyways, right? Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Sir, siguro i-segue ko lang kasi nabanggit nyo yung vaccine, ano? And actually, yan ang isa sa mga tinatanong palagi. Nabanggit nyo yung Moderna, and si Ma'am Ann nabanggit yung Johnson & Johnson. Gano'n na ba talaga tayo kalayo sa vaccine? I mean, realistic ba yung first quarter of next year? And parang nabanggit nyo yung Pilipinas, parang suntok sa buwan. Ano? Paki-elaborate ng konti, sir. Kasi yan ang hinihintay ng maraming tao. And then siguro si Ma'am Ann can answer also that one.
Ma'am Ann can answer some of that aspect. But we've been observing the developments. Obviously, we're part of a solidarity trial. If Dr. Chong was here, he would have elaborated on that. Not only on cure, but also on the vaccine. But at the same time, we're looking at potential developments in both China. There's 3, I think, in China that's oncoming. I think Secretary Boy mentioned it already, and 2 in Taiwan. Of course, the U.S. is Moderna, the one leading there together with J&J, and of course the Oxford technology that has already commitment for $1 billion facility in India for mass production. So lahat po yan ay nakasalang, and clearly to me it's all going through.
Kumukulo pa lang, sir, o ano na?
Wala pang kulo. Wala pa yung kulo, palagay ko. Hindi pa kumukulo sa atin.
So, malayo pa yung inin.
Yeah, hopefully some of them are mentioning July, August. And Anne would probably be able to elaborate kung kailan magti-trickle down, hopefully, dito. So I'll save that for Anne.
Okay, Ma'am Ann?
Okay. Actually, I'm involved in some discussions here in the FOB, including evaluation of countries who will be doing clinical trials here in the Philippines. And then at the same time, we are still making a lot of discussions, making roadmaps like that and so on. So it's still early. And at the same time, when you talk about vaccine for COVID-19 from other countries, like in the US and UK, more likely maybe the earliest would be next year.
Next year.
Because and that is with the condition that you do not have like 75% efficacy. It could be lower, but for emergency purposes, they might go for it. And I think that's the plan of Dr. Fauci as the consultant, like that and so on. So more likely it could be towards second quarter of next year, if ever there is. But there are some, how do you call that, limitations like RNA. There has been no vaccine that is RNA based that Moderna is developing. They are just good in animal studies, but they do not work in humans because of the capability of the RNA. But we do not know because it's an RNA biotech company. So maybe they know better. But historically, it's difficult. And Moderna hasn't have anything on phase 3. It's a new startup company actually. But they are very good because now they have billions to work on.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ma'am Ann, for that. Thank you. How about the other guests po? Meron po silang work sa COVID-19. Si Sir Arnel raising his hand. Go ahead, Sir Arnel.
Okay. Dahil wala pa munang vaccine, focus muna tayo sa food production. Food that can boost our immune system. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. Of course, as directed by our secretary, we at the Department of Agriculture, Philippine Carabao Center, we were instructed to refocus part of our program to COVID-related activities, especially those projects that would enhance food production, food supply availability, accessibility, and stability. So these are four core projects worth 30 million ito 30 million projects. Ang objective nito ay para tulungan yung mga affected by COVID, especially the dairy farmers o yung mga nag-aalaga ng kalabaw. So, ang unang project natin, tinawag nating Unlad Lahi Project. Ito, marami kasing mga magagatas ng kalabaw na tubigil sa paggagatas dahil kay COVID because of lockdown. So, through this project, we want to regain yung milk production as well as meat production and also making available animals for displaced farmers. Hindi lang na-displaced ng COVID, meron pa rin kasing na-displaced ng African swine fever. So pinagsama na namin and this project named Unlad Lahi Project will address that. So namimigay kami ng mga animals, startup support to farmers, mga pagkain para lang makapag-start ang mga magsasaka, and provision of logistical support. The second project is named COVID. COVID meaning creating opportunities through value, innovations, and development. COVID po yun. So ito po ay to make appropriate technologies and innovations available for use of farmers or the carapreneurs and other value chain actors. Ang tawag po namin dito ay yung mga lab to farm. So ang isang innovation namin dito ay yung mag-upscale ng technology. Dahil po kailangan ng gatas, no? Kasi naniniwala kami gatas is an important food, complete food that can boost the immune system. Gumawa kami ng mga produkto na pwedeng maging available to the children. Ito yung dati Nutriban ang tawag natin, but we have the Milky Ban. Nilagyan natin ng gatas ng kalabaw. Pag kumain ka ng isang tinapay, para ka nang uminom ng isang basong gatas. And this product can be transported dun sa malalayong lugar. And we have also the milk pups. So 4 na candy, pag kinain mo, parang uminom ka na ng isang basong gatas. At pwede pong i-transport to distant places. So yan po ay mga innovations na ginagawa ng Philippine Carabao Center. Meron din kaming gig project. Ito naman yung gatas, isda at gulay. Nandito po yung promotion ng urban agriculture as well as gulayan sa barangay. So pinagsama na namin yung gatas, yung isda at gulay. At katandem po natin ang BIFAR dito. And finally, gumawa na po kami ng mga kaara-aralan projects. Ito po yung activity to sustain yung access to information. Dahil nga walang mass gathering, walang training, so nagko-conduct na po tayo ng mga e-learning activities or webinars on farm solutions. So mga ongoing po itong mga projects na ito at ito ay worth 30 million projects. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sir Arnel. Sino pa po ang gustong mag-add? Chris, will add something.
Yeah, para po dagdagan yung mga sinabi ng mga kasama ko sa NAST, ang isa kong una namin ginawa, dahil this is isa sa mga ginagawa talaga namin, mag-model, naggawa po kami ng mga maraming webinars at nagtulong kami para makapag-model ang iba't ibang LGUs, kasamang LGUs at iba't ibang university at tulungan ng iba't ibang government institutions, DOH and DOF para po labanan itong COVID-19 na ito. So ang isa po siguro na gusto ko ding i-highlight na this is of course a part of my job. Ang kailangan po na tulong ng marami, and I'm sure makakatulong po ang NAST at ang mga academicians natin dito, ay ang idea ng pagbabalik ng online learning. Ang pagbabalik po ng education during this time of COVID-19 crisis that can happen for a long time. Tandaan po natin, pag binalikan po natin ang history, hanggang September ng 1918, mula Marso hanggang September ng 1918, if we try to project gaano po karami ang namatay sa current times, mga 4,000 plus lang po. At mukhang yung data natin nandoon pa rin naglalaro. Baka ganun din lang ang mamamatay sa atin sa Pilipinas hanggang hanggang September. Pero mula September po hanggang December or January noong 1918 to 1919, ang total po na namatay sa current na population pag pinroject natin is about 1 million. So yung po mga ganitong klase ng model, understanding at yung mga susunod na mangyayari lalo na pagdating sa online learning, malaking bagay po na makatulong tayo na maggawa yon. So sa institute po namin, sa AIM, nag-hire pa po kami ng magtuturo sa amin mula sa Circus de Soleil papaano ang proper na way para makipag-interact sa mga estudyante at papaano gawing online learning ay kasing effective ng face-to-face na learning. Sa tingin ko po dito marami tayong maiko-contribute at ito po ang isa sa mga tinututukan po namin ngayon. Ipakita na kayang gawin po ito. Hanggang ngayon po ay hindi tumigil ang AIM halimbawa sa online learning namin, and it seems to be a very successful medium at this point. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Chris. In fact, nasasagot na natin yung ilang mga katanungan dito ng ating mga media partners. Anything to add po dun sa, bago tayo mag-proceed sa another question, dun sa tanong na ano po yung ating mga activities regarding COVID-19? Sir Francis, you were raising your hand.
Yeah. I just also wanted to say you can look at also the PAASE group, Philippine American Academy of Scientists and Engineers, because very early on they mobilized themselves and we were all part of clusters and groups that address different issues, whether food or water or modeling and so on. So on the paase.org website, you can see a lot of the activities, and obviously a lot of the movers and leaders in PAASE some of them are NAST members also.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. From Meli Tenorio, yung question niya about foremost goal ng newly elected NAST during pandemic, nasagot na. Yung food is a necessity, I would think nasagot na rin yun. So I guess we need to move on. From Miss Horizon Chaser, what are the qualifications for being NAST academician and how could they start? What would NAST provide as assistance? Ma'am Ning, would you want to sort of give some brief, quick answer to this one?
Okay. Peer recognition po to be members of NAST or academician and also to be corresponding members of NAST. We have a process only NAST members can nominate who should be corresponding member and who should be academician. So pinaprocess po yan ng NAST, different stages. First is sa members muna, then sa divisions, then sa council, and then election. So may required votes po iyon. Now, it's po yung NAST members, yung academician. Meron pong certain remuneration na binibigay ang government. Meron din pong assistance in terms of medical hospitalization, hindi man ganun kalaki. Meron din pong offered na research fellowship sa NAST members. Yung pong corresponding members naman ay talagang honorary lang siya. Kasi hindi naman sila nagtatagal dito sa Pilipinas and most of their works hindi naman dito din sa Pilipinas. But anytime na may meeting ang NAST, they are given information, and if they are here in the Philippines or they can access the meetings through virtual, pwede naman po yun. Yung ang meetings ay para lang sa NAST members. So yun po yung benefits ng to be NAST members.
Okay, thank you very much, Ma'am Ning. Ulitin ko lang po, no, hindi po ina-applyan ng pagiging NAST academician or corresponding member. It is done through nomination po ng members. Ayan. And then pagbobotohan po kung ang karapat-dapat po yung nominee. Ayan. Okay, now to Dr. Monterola from Ms. Patricia Mirasol. What particular fields in the startup ecosystem are you currently lending your AI and complex systems expertise to fintech, health tech, etc.? What AI and tech opportunities has this pandemic opened up? Thank you.
So note po na marami kami sa team namin. No? I'm leading this data science lab and I'm the head of A-Site. But one of the dreams, one of the things that we did is we hope, isa po sa pangarap namin yan, kuhanin ang mga talent na galing sa labas, Amerika, sa Germany, sa South Korea, pabalikin natin sila sa Pilipinas at bigyan natin sila ng kakayanan na ma-maximize yung potential at capacity nila dito. So isang team po kami ng mga scientists na nandoon ngayon sa AIM. Marami pong field ang pinupuntahan namin at ginagawan po namin. But let me give a concrete example po. Ang mga capstone po ng mga data scientists namin, thesis nila, okay, yung last na cohort po namin, 7 ay ini-sponsor ng iba't ibang company at institutions. And to sponsor, kailangan mo pong magbayad ng $5,000 to $10,000. Ang na-produce po na value, at itong value po na ito ay binibigay ng mga CFOs, ng mga executives ng companies nung unang set ng data scientists namin, it's about $10 million or kalahating milyong piso. Nung pangalawang batch po, katatapos lang po ng defense nila 2 linggo na, 15 po, halos 28 actually na companies at iba't ibang institutions ang pumunta sa amin. Karamihan po sa kanila ay mga multinationals na may base sa Pilipinas. No? Nagbibigay ng competitive edge kasi kapag nag-anchor sa artificial intelligence, sa data science, etc. At ang mga problem po na sinosolve ng mga estudyante natin, halimbawa sa health, it includes making a projection kung gaano katagal mag-i-stay ang isang pasyente sa ospital. Ano ang probability na mahuhulog siya or babagsak siya, magpo-fall siya kapag ganito yung mga iniinom niya na gamot. No? Sa fintech po, meron po tayong tinulungan na nationwide ang presence niya at hindi siya namimili ng mga kliyente niya kasi it's a Christian organization. Ang pangalan po nila ay TSPI, Tulay sa Pag-unlading Corporation. I think okay lang po na sabihin ko yon. They have 1.5 billion capitalization for microfinancing at hindi sila namimili ng mga, kasi karaniwan walang history ng bank ang karamihan sa mga Pilipino po, no? 90+% natin ay unbanked. So sila po ay nagpapautang sa mga magsasaka at saka etc. Tinulungan po namin sila para ma-maximize nila ma-minimize nila yung default at paano sila magawa ng intervention. At marami pa pong ganon. No? 15 po yan sila, merong project galing sa ADB, etc. Ang isang bagay po na masaya kami is through this artificial intelligence, machine learning, data science, etc. Ang naitulong po namin sa mga companies na ito ay conservatively, ang nadagdag po sa kanilang annual revenue is $40 million. No? Wow. At isa pong magandang model ito kasi nakapapakita na edukasyon, science, nakakatulong sa mga companies natin na maging competitive. Ito po, ilan lang po yan sa mga ginawa namin. At ngayon po, ang isa sa project po namin na actually kasama namin ng DOST na nag-fund ay para masigurado na yung tubig natin ay hindi mauubos. So nag-install po ang Manila Water ng maraming sensors. Pinag-aaralan po namin at tinitingnan namin paano i-distribute ang tubig sa buong Manila. So this is more than 1 million household. At ang una pong Smart City project na in-sponsor din ng DOS3 to Kawayan City, kung saan tinitingnan namin ang mga importanteng what are the important factors that defines a smart city. So prior to coming here po in the Philippines, kami po ang nagmo-model sa Singapore yung team namin ng anong science ng cities, ano mga bagay that will make a city smart. At yung po mga ganitong kaalaman, dinadala po namin dito para matingnan, lalo na sa isang developing nation na context, paano ba natin gagawin po yun. Ang isa pong bagay na natutunan ko dito, at since lalo na ito po ang ating mga scientists ay nandito, ang science po, maliban sa mga kaya nating gumawa ng mga top na publications sa mga problems na to, pwede rin po siyang magkaroon ng malalim na impact sa ating mga kababayan. Salamat po.
Thanks, Chris. To Ms. Patricia, do you want to have a follow-up question on that? Para ma-acknowledge ka rin ni Chris? Ms. Patricia?
No further question. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you, Ma'am Patricia.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Okay, next question. From Miguel Galang, the Varsitarian. No? This is actually a question to everyone. How can we improve dialogues on science and technology between the government and various sectors of society? Siguro I would ask maybe 2 or 3 person na lang to answer kasi maraming pa po tayong questions. So who would want to volunteer? Ulitin ko po, how can we improve dialogues on science and technology between the government and various sectors of society? Si Sir Al nag-raise ng hand.
Yeah, we've been very active in trying to get that conversation and convergence moving through what they call the Innovation Council now with government, which is a combination of DTI, DOST, NEDA. And I think a year ago, they signed up most of the other departments, including DepEd, the CHED, as well as DA. And mainly, the key is being able to use the state universities, academia as the focal point for most of the activities between industry and government. That was our initiative early on in the last 5 years with USA to capacitate the universities with their knowledge and technology transfer offices to be able to relate to both industry and government what's happening in science and technology. I think that's one way of going about it. But to me, the real proof of a vibrant science and technology innovation ecosystem is that you have both industry creating companies, not much different from what Chris just mentioned, na pinapakita na umaakyat yung kita for them if they use S&T. And at the same time, dun sa other sides on the sector groups like agriculture, transportation, and energy and environment, there are specific initiatives that are implemented all the way down to the local level, at the LGU level. And I think there are some initiatives in NAST already ongoing with national scientists Luli Cruz and Alvin Colaba that they mentioned before. But we need to expound on that, not only a single or 2 regions, but mainly most of the countries. In Stride, we're also doing regional inclusive innovation councils, which is really a collaboration between industry. Like in my case, I was helping the Pili industry in Bicol, and we were having meetings sponsored by DTI and the DOST in Legazpi, and we were able to talk to the business people who are small and medium scale businesses, farmers as well, and how they can be helped by S&T. So I think we just need more of those in all of the regions. I think very effectively, and also has done it in the Bukidnon, Iloilo area as well, because that's part of her work here in the Philippines whenever she comes over. I am sure Dr. Gustillo probably is doing one in Negros. And so I think more of us taking it upon ourselves to be the focal point, using our connections or our contacts to be able to connect people to do something worthwhile together. It's almost like forming teams to solve a particular problem. And it can be composed by government, industry, and academia. Thank you.
Thank you, Sir Al. Chris, if you can add briefly.
So yes po, ang main reason po for this this is not a problem na nakikita lang sa Pilipinas. So this is a general problem, industry, academia, at saka government institutions. Ang main reason bakit hindi sila nag-uusap po is because they have different KPI. The KPI of the government is public service impact, no? So to serve the people. The KPI of industry is to innovate or die or create value, money. While the KPI of scientists is or those in the academe is to solve holy grail problems, publish or perish. And sometimes these are non-overlapping, and yung reason kung bakit hindi nagko-connect ay dahil sa mga ganun po. One of the things that we realize for this to happen is kailangan maglagay ng data sa gitna, and that everyone will be able to satisfy yung lahat ng mga KPIs nila. At yun po, isa po ito, kailangan natin ng mga quick success stories na katulad nga ng sinabi kanina ni AI, makikita ng lahat at makukwento ng lahat. Pag nangyari po yun, magmalaki po ang matutulong nun sa atin.
Okay. Naalala ko yung director ko minsan sabi niya, yung dating director ko, may kumita na ba dyan sa research ninyo? Gulantang kami. Pero at some level, ibang, tama din ibang perspective being a manager yun na nakikita nila. Okay, punta tayo kay Miss Juliet Cruz ng Inspire Life. Ito, Sir Arnel, para siguro sa iyo to, although livestock and maybe mga biology experts, do we have programs to enrich our agricultural land with the minerals needed to have vital mineral containing vegetables and fruit harvest? Like what our body needs, at least 60 colloidal minerals. Sa mga agriculturists, chemists, who wants to answer? Sir Arnel, sige. Go, try.
General principle naman if you nourish soil, then you will get a good harvest. So, but we're using combination of inorganic fertilizer and of course organic fertilizer, using manure, carabao manure, and also through composting. Likewise, we do vermicast so that we can also bring the vermicast to urban areas for urban agriculture. But for minerals, we have no specific studies to share. What I'm saying is just our general practice to nourish the soil. Thank you.
Okay, Caesar. This was sent by Ma'am Ning, so I guess Ms. Juliet is not here. We'll move on to David Matthew Gopilan. I guess this one is for Sir Windel. Sir Windel, kasi for academicians in the academe, most universities are planning to adopt a no face-to-face type of learning for the upcoming school year semester. Hence, most classes will be held online. Do you have any tips for college and graduate students on how to adjust and maximize their learning experience? Siguro Sir Windel and then si Ma'am Mabel? Ma'am Nonato? Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I think I can speak for UP Diliman, in particular the College of Science where I belong. This is really a difficult time to deal, especially with our students. At first, when UP announced that we will be having online classes for this coming semester, we thought that it would be blended learning. We will have online at the same time. There would be a time wherein we can actually meet face-to-face with our students physically. But then later on, the UP system announced that it would be remote learning, 100% online. And that is really difficult, especially in my field. I'm in biology, and in particular microbiology. Our students need to learn lots of techniques, and they need to develop skills on how to handle microorganisms. So at first it was really difficult for us. But then we were encouraged to actually modify our course goals, also learning outcomes. Okay, in particular for this coming semester and probably another semester after this semester, we will actually be focusing on helping our students improve their writing skills. You know, as scientists, we need to have good writing skills. So we will be mostly focusing on that in this coming semester. And of course, critical thinking and critical analysis for students. We do require our students to have, of course, a thesis, okay, which they can actually work on. But in most cases, we may be going to use in silico analysis, no, yung mga online lang na analysis, no. Especially in biology, we do have lots of in silico analysis that can actually be done by students. So tips for students or graduate students on how to adjust. Actually, pareho lang siya nung physical classroom setting. I think they will be able to adjust eventually. Thank you.
Thank you, Sir Windel. Mama Bell?
At UST, I think we were just lucky that we have our own LMS already. We've been using that for a long time. We use the Blackboard as a platform. We've been using it for over a decade now. The reason for that is because of the situation we have at UST, where whenever we have typhoons and all those rainy season, we always have suspension of classes. I think everybody knows the situation at España. So we have that. That is used to augment classes. So we can still continue classes despite all those suspension that we have. So we have trained faculty members. Over 50% of our faculty members have been trained. And our general education classes have been delivered remotely or online. We started it last year. So I think in terms of adjustment, of course, it's a big adjustment for the faculty, of course. For some who are not, I think, technologically capable, then it was not easy for them to shift from face-to-face to all online. Similarly, for the students, because of the issue of resources, so some don't have really computers at home, surprisingly. Even for faculty members, there are some who don't have computers. Then, of course, the internet connection. So it was not easy to move from face-to-face to online. So for the first term, we will still continue with that. But we are continuing the training of the faculty member, and we have established system to provide assistance to students. There are now provisions for loan to acquire computers, not just for faculty, but even for the students. And we have also provided assistance for internet connections. So those things are now in place. And so I think it's just a little adjustment for UST students because, as I said, we have been doing it partly, but not fully. That's the thing. So I think in terms of the adjustment, like for our graduate students, we still continue classes. I think everybody knows that we did not stop. We only completed our second term last May 30. So everything was done online. Assessments were done online. And we are still offering right now our special classes. I think so far, I don't know whether it was we're just we somehow foresee that we are moving into that direction, and we created our cloud campus already. One of the things also is because we are planning to put up campuses outside of Manila. One is in General Santos and the other is, and we realize the difficulty of acquiring faculty members that will deliver the same quality of education. So we are already considering blended learning. That's why we have made things ready. So I think when it comes to the adjustment of the student, there's very little. The only thing we really need, and the biggest problem we really have, is the internet connections of students who are in places where we don't have, maybe they have poor connections, but we have been trying to address that by communicating with SMART, with Globe, on how we can establish partnership with them to enhance the connection of the students. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Malapit na daw yata yung Starlink ni Elon Musk. So, makakonect na tayong lahat.
Yes.
Malayo pa yata yun. Okay, sige. I will not give the partner to do follow-up question kasi marami pa po, nasa 27 messages pa. So I'll jump ahead to the next question. This one, perhaps two of our corresponding members can answer this one, si Ma'am Annabelle and si Sir Ramon. Question is, how will the OST NAST encourage Filipino scientists abroad to stay for good in the Philippines and collaborate with them? This is from Philippines Event News TV. Ma'am Annabelle and Sir Ramon. Who will go first?
Hello. This is
sige, si Ma'am Annabelle muna po. Okay, ma'am.
Oh.
Go ahead.
I've been encouraging a lot of people I know who are scientists in the US to become like scientists, but the problem is they are too young and they wanted to be developed more in the US before coming here to the Philippines. Because usually the thinking is when you have a PhD, it's not enough. You need to know more. Just like you need to know more in a way that you really can immediately help the Philippines in its science and technology. However, as of now, I think the Balik Scientist program for me is very attractive already because you can choose, or if you really have the mission to help the Philippines, you can do a lot of things. Kulang lang yung warm bodies sa Philippines. But for young people in the US, I have 3 nieces and nephew there. They are PhD chem also, they are scientists, and they are not planning yet to come back. It's only later on. That's what they were telling me. And I have other friends whom I am convincing to go back as a Balik scientist. The short term is difficult if you are working in the US, unless I guess you're a professor. If you are in industry like me in Johnson & Johnson before, I am not allowed to have leave more than 10 days. So at least now I already opted for an early retirement, so I have all the time and be a consultant to Johnson & Johnson. So I guess that's the difficulty for Filipinos. The fee that the Philippines is giving is more than enough, practically. But there's still difficulty to do that convincing.
Okay. Dr. Ramon, sir?
I think for me personally, number one, there have been many hundreds of Filipinos that came to my department in the States for about 1 to 2 years. And then they came back. The problem that I noted at that time is that they came back, but there are no implants to be used here because they're very expensive. So that's one of the reasons why I came back and established the orthopedic technology in Cabuyao, Laguna, to produce implants for Filipinos. And the reason I went to Manapla because I just wanted to help where I was born here. So that's why now I help build the church and help the hotel, and now I built a hospital. But I think basic to that, there are rich Filipinos in the United States that want to come back. And how do you incentivize them to come back? To me, it should be that if I invested in my town, for instance, there has to be some tax incentives for these people. So that just like in the States, we have lots of incentive in the States. But here, there's hardly none unless you go to the process of rebuilding a hospital like I did. Then I have tax incentive for next 3 years. But just somebody who's rich in the States to come back and go to his town and establish, let's say, a new business or whatever it is. They still have to pay tax, municipal tax and other taxes. This, to me, they have to be some reason for doing it. and it should be tax-free, let's say, for next 3 years, until get their money back. I have a hotel here now for 10 years. We're still losing money. We have lost over 100 million pesos the last 10 years. Without any incentive. But that reason, but I can afford it. So the other day I went to the mayor, I said, this has to stop. You have to give us incentive, at least for 3 years. Just like the hospital now. I have an incentive in the hospital now via from Bureau of Internal Revenue. I don't have to pay taxes for next 3 years until I can get. So I think that's the one that the Philippine government or the president can somehow develop incentives for them to come back. And one of that is taxes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much po. Ma'am Ann and Sir Ramon talked about enabling an enabling environment, taxes, for example. So thank you very much, sir, for those insights. Okay, we now go to, again, this one, maybe one guest can answer this one. Do we have scientists who will help small entrepreneurs who become bigger and develop and become profitable? If yes, can we give top 3 examples? Would want to answer this one. Mga natulungan po daw nating entrepreneur ng ating science na talagang naging, hindi naman siguro bilyonaryo, but milyonaryo, and cite specific examples. Si Sir Al nagtataas ng kamay. Siguro Sir Al, you will answer this one.
Yes, I mean, definitely. We've been helping a lot of the UP technologies for the last, 6 years, 7 years? Ever since Giselle Concepcion was VPA APAC. And I think Wendell, that's where we were together last. But as an example, MTech is Raul Destura's company. It's our first spin out of UP system. This was on the technology on dengue detection. This was 2015 when we spun it out. It's a UP Manila, UP Diliman technology. And since then, Raul has received more funding for both fast track and manufacturing in his company in Marikina. And as everyone knows, he was in position to develop the COVID-19 detection kit as well in late March, early April, and still trying to get it up and running again with some modifications in his process to be able to help. And again, with the millions of testing that's happening, I wouldn't be surprised if MTech will become a ₱1 billion company before the year is over, at least in revenues. I don't know about the profitability yet, but nevertheless, it's this type of companies that we need to be able to highlight. In the field of fintech, I've been mentoring several companies in enterprise, UP Enterprise. One of them is Capital, which is a fintech technology, not much different from what they call this. Chris was talking about, being able to source out his capital from millennials and lend it to their neighborhoods in their provinces, any amount between 5,000 to 50,000, and they've lent over 70 million in the last 3-4 years that I've been mentoring them, and I've been trying to get them to organize to become a public company. But again, it's dependent on the founders of the company where they want to take it. Not everyone wants to go there too fast and too soon. And you need to explain to them that if you're going to welcome in capital, you have to be able to demonstrate a way to get out of it after they made the investment. And usually IPO is the only easy way. We don't have an active acquisition by big companies and small companies, so we cannot sell your businesses as easily here in the Philippines yet. But hopefully that's part of our ambition, is to be able to demonstrate enough of these companies that can not only develop technologies, make revenues, but really be able to buy and sell companies or go for an IPO, not only locally, but in Singapore or in Hong Kong, depending on what's needed based on what your capital structure is. So to me, part of it is it's happening now in the startups, in the fintech and the ICT. We have several of those, but not as pervasive yet in the hard technologies like environment, agriculture, health, advanced material. Dr. Gustilo's company, OSI, is probably the most successful medical device company who has actually have developed in the Philippines, clinically tested and out in the hospitals already, being used in more than 500 patients already. The last time I asked his president, Jude Sasing. So I've been monitoring most of these developments. There's a few pockets of innovations in industry. It's starting to snowball, but this whole COVID-19 kind of threw the whole momentum out because both the capital that was available for startups as well as DOST funding and DTI are all now going to be diverted to solve the pandemic initially. And I don't know how far setback in research and development and product development this is all going to take, but at least there's some focus now on the need for science and technology solutions to help the country during this pandemic and in the economic turmoil or our needs moving forward. And I think this is where some of the technologies hopefully can step up and be able to demonstrate that, yes, we can be in the new normal wherein technology comes as a major player in being able to bring back the economy. And I think that's another focus that we ought to be concerned about beyond the health aspect. I agree with the agriculture for the Philippine Carabao Center that Arnel was talking about. All of those need to be kind of boosted in your own region and localities to be able to expand both revenues as well as investments. So may mga example, a few more. I have some in the regions that we've been helping both for pharma and all the earlier projects we had in USAID Stride. We've awarded close to 300 million in funds in the last 5 years from 2013 to 2018. A lot of them are starting to become spin-outs as well and become companies. It's just we're not yet fully broadcasting them well, and a lot of them are too small still to be broadcasted, but eventually they will grow up, and hopefully we can support them when they get to be 100 million or a billion peso at least moving forward. But I think we'll get there sooner or later. Thank you.
Yeah, and I'm sure yung ating mga media partners dito, sir, abangan yung mga billion-dollar story na yan. All right. Anyone would want to add to that? We're finishing up with our questions here. Sir Ramon, you're raising your hand. Sige po, you have the mic.
5-6 years ago, actually the Department of Science and Technology came to me if we can help in the Philippines. There are about 25 to 30,000 patients that need knee replacement every year in the Philippines. And yet, we only do 3,000. Two reasons why: because it's too expensive. It's over 100,000 per implant. And also there are very few really orthopedic surgeons that can do it. So with that in mind, we approached with a study and we have a partnership with the Department of Science and Technology. We're able to produce our own knee system that's equivalent to the one that actually I developed in the States. But the cost dropped down almost 50%. It's still expensive from 110, 120,000 to about 50 to 60,000 per implant. And we have all the patents. And besides that, the money that those give me about, to develop a new system cost about $10 million. So those give us a grant of 1.2 million, while I supply the rest of them. But in addition to that, for every knee system that we implant in the Philippines, we have to give the government 3% back as a royalty for the next 18 years. So essentially, the investment, they will get it back easily. This year alone, I think we have implanted 1,000 already of these knees. It's very good. So I guess what I'm trying to say is the help of the government, partnership with the government and private enterprise probably is the way to go to identify these needed problems, at least in medicine. We cannot just rely on the Western products all the time. They are too expensive for us.
Okay. Sige po, sir. Thank you very much. Napakaganda. I guess we'll go to the last question na po in the interest of time. Courtesy of Daniel Varias. Although ang question niya kay kay Chris Monterola, nasagot na rin ni Chris dito sa chat box. Perhaps meron pa siyang iba pang tanong dito. Perhaps Daniel Varias can ask the question personally kung meron ka pang follow-up question.
Yes, hello, good afternoon.
Okay, sige. You'll have the opportunity to ask the last question, Pards.
I would like to thank Sir Dr. Monterola for answering my question. Then yung next question ko would be about because natanong kanina yung sa pagdating sa enriching yung fruits, vegetables, and crops. So I would like to ask anyone if they have any projects about genetically modified organisms that may be used to as a response for the COVID-19 pandemic.
Okay, thank you, Daniel. Anyone, sir?
I mean, that's not really my area of expertise in terms of food production, but I think food production is a big issue. Obviously, one of the needs with shutting down the economy and yung mga general quarantine and so on is that you really disrupt production systems, especially food systems, and that's really a big need because yung malaking naapektuhan nitong quarantine na yung mga mahihirap na kailangan lumabas para ma-access yung makapagtrabaho at the same time makapag-access ng pagkain. And I'm not quite sure of GMO efforts, particularly with this crisis, but I know that food production is one area that a lot of people are looking at. So, sorry, wala akong masyadong information on the GMO side.
Thank you, Sir Francis, for those. And I guess with that, we're going to end our question and answer portion. Clap naman po tayo dyan. Thank you very much all to our guests and to our media partners. Okay, truly napaka-interesting and productive and nakaka-excite yung mga discussions kanina. Hindi pa rin maalis sa isipan ko yung 1 billion, ano. Parang kung meron tayong maging 1 billion na entrepreneur because of our science, then I'm sure matutuwa yung dati kong director. Anyway, so with that, for the closing remarks, may I call on si ating Executive Director ng NAST Philippines, si Ma'am Luningning Samarita Domingo, to make her closing remarks. Ma'am?
Okay, marami pong salamat sa inyong lahat. Magandang hapon sa inyong lahat. On behalf of the National Academy of Science and Technology, we would like to thank everyone for making time despite your busy schedule and the COVID-19 pandemic to be with us today for the first Pilipinas virtual Kapehan. This may be the current normal, but we are still hoping to see you physically in the near future. As you know, this is not the first Kapehan that the NAST communication team will organize, and we hope you will participate in our next series of Kapehans. We will announce the schedule on our social media website, so I am requesting you to please follow our social media accounts at NAST Philippines for updates. I will also take this opportunity to share with you that the reason why we opened this event to other science and technology communicators, including bloggers and other members of the press, is that we are now forming our official media group called SCOOP, S-C-O-O-P, Science Communicators of Pilipinas. We do not want to limit our circle. They say 2 hands are better than 1. For me, many voices, no matter how small, are better than 1 voice. If we work together, we can reach more people, more researchers, and more scientists. We are hoping that SCOOP members can help us with our goal of bringing science closer to the masses. In exchange, we are planning to organize a year-end gathering to recognize the efforts of active members of SCOOP. By active, meaning they are regularly producing articles, reports, or blogs about NAST. If you are interested to be part of SCOOP, we will be posting the registration link on our social media pages. Again, thank you to all Thank you to our newly elected academicians and corresponding members for your time. To our media friends, if you have scoop articles, news reports, blogs produced about the Academy or related to our members and awardees, please let us know and please help us share the good news to more people. I am also inviting all of you to attend the 42nd Annual Scientific Meeting of NAST on July 8 to 10 via Zoom. We will be sending you the link immediately after this Kapehan. To all, good afternoon. Keep safe, healthy, and happy. Thank you.
Thank you, Ma'am Ning. Thank you. And bago po tayo magpaalam, we're requesting you to accomplish the evaluation form that can be accessed through the link flashed on the screen. And participants who accomplish the evaluation form are entitled to receive a system-generated certificate of attendance. Kung ano daw po ang ilalagay nyo sa name portion, yun po ang lalabas sa certificate nyo. So careful po tayo. Please follow the NAST official Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram accounts. Please help us promote the activities of the Academy too. Itag nyo po kami sa mga articles, reports na gagawin po ninyo. Thank you everyone. Stay safe. This is Muji Santos signing off po. Bye-bye. Thank you very much.